The Sean didn't come?
No.
No,
that's okay.
Davis.
Wow, how could it be? Should be delayed.
I just want to know if I should order more
Bring
sandwiches.
some spoons. Menachem Siegel,
Nachum Siegel.
on the radio.
I've heard of him.
Oh, wow.
Never met him in person.
Wow, wow, wow.
Tall guy. 36.
Wow, look what we got here.
Hmm?
No. Say it. Thank you.
You can find out Davis.
Yes, let's do.
A nigga.
Let's start with the niggin. Before we learn the Tanya.
Emet Hashem, we're all going to this and it's waiting.
Amen.
Send a shidduchim suggestion.
Yes.
Fine. Amen.
Le'lilu nishmas, the Tayir Chaber, Rebbe Meir ben Rebbe Avrom, who was loved by everyone who met him. So they shall helfen take the mitzvah Hashem, that Meir should have nachas from his children's children. They should have nachas from Shumi, and from his children and their children.
Okay.
If Shmuel Groinem was a Mishpi in Lubavitch, he was once trying to illustrate what does it mean, Mora de Chushbana. He said there was a extremely wealthy man, and one day the CEO of the company came to show him, gave him a dossier of what's going on. So the guy is reading, all of a sudden it's Choshech Hafela. He realized that the business is so bad that it's not just about bankruptcy. He's in unbelievable trouble. He fainted. After he was revived, he asked the CEO of the company, he said, I don't understand. How come I fainted? You walked in with a smile, you sat down, you had a coffee. The guy said, the CEO says, well, look, after
who was he?
The owner of the company fainted, but the CEO took a coffee. Okay. So he said, look, when your company is going to go bankrupt, I'll find another job, but you're going to be the one bankrupt. So he said, that's Pshat Mora de Chushbana. He makes a cheshbon, but he's the owner of the cheshbon. It's his cheshbon. It's negayah to him. The cheshbon is negayah to him. We spoke the last Pedic. The whole Pedic was a very important Pedic. And the whole exercise. The Alter Rebbe gives two exercises of how to do Tshuvat Torah. The main thing of Tshuvat Torah is Kabbalah Sa'el Malchus Shamayim. Okay, Kabbalah Sa'el. But how do I make it should be Be'emes B'Leiv Shalom? So that was the whole thing of Pedic, Zayin, and Tanya. Two main exercises how to do. The first exercise was a Leiv Nishbur. when he thinks about his things, he has a leiv nishbor. What does it mean, a leiv nishbor? They say that from the Bosha Zelik of Strikov, the Tzaddik of Strikov, he said, what's the difference between a leiv nishbor and a person who's atzvus? Because a person has a leiv nishbor, he's upset at himself. A person has atzvus is angry at everyone around him. A leiv nishbor is angry at himself. The guy who's always ba'atzvus is angry at everyone else and blames everyone else.
And what Levnitka?
That's for tomorrow night.
Oh.
So
Don't they say that?
it's not,
Don't they say that you should, if you're sad at yourself, that turns into depression inward? So maybe.
okay. At least the difference. They say there was a masnag that asked a chassid, why you always come late for shachris? You're always late. And he said, why I'm late? Because I sleep in late.
No.
They said, so why do you sleep in late? He said, because I go to sleep late. Why do you go sleep late?
Learning.
He said, at night, when I start making a cheshbon nefesh about where I stand in life, I start getting the feeling that this might be my last day I'm living. So I figure, let me make a good krishma shalamita, once for my life. It takes a long time, so that's why I end up going to sleep late. So I wake up late. You guys, Baruch Hashem, you're good guys. Everything is good. So you go to sleep early, you get up early. Everything is good for you.
That's my excuse.
Yeah, Shumi, l'chaim. Oh, the Heinte is do nicht stam l'chaim. Heinte do the deluxe l'chaim. Yeah,
Relax.
He bought it.
And if it's too sweet, you can mix it with this, and that's even better.
l'chaim.
Eric, did you hear about the dossier? You know, Hillary's Trump dossier, whatever. I'm trying to poke the bear.
There's a story of the Bzusha that the Bzusha once asked the Shaila. It says in the Shulchan Aruch in the beginning is Gabe Kari. A person should wake up like a lion. It says, and then afterwards, to Shoichem, Yida lifnei mi Shoichem. Yida lifnei mi Shoichem.
This is in the night or in the morning?
It's Hilchus night to Hilchus morning. The Bzusha gefragt, the first Simon of Shulchan Aruch is Hilchus Hashmoides HaBoiker. Hilchus HaMapel and Simon Reish Mem. So what happened that in the first Sif and Simon and Shulchan Aruch, Taki's got, what's him, Shuhu Shoichev Yeda Lifnei Mi Shoichev. So, Rabbi Yezusha said it's very negeya. If you go to sleep like a dog, you don't wake up like a lion.
Wake up like a dog.
If he goes to sleep and Yeda Lifnei Mi Shoichev, when I wake up in the morning, I'll wake up like a lion. But if he goes to sleep, nishtazoi, what do you expect? How is he going to wake up in the morning? So therefore, when you want to be his gaber kari, it has to be before he goes to sleep. Yeda lifnei mi shoichev. My Zayda always said about his father, the Bechon Adai Marozo, that he would, the Frierdiker Rebbe was learning with him, and then the Frierdiker Rebbe told him his father decided that he's going to take him as a masker. And my Zayda wasn't interested. He said to the Rebbe Rashab that they say that the masker cannot be a chosed. So he said, no, the previous masker was too much a chosed. No, his name was Reb Nachman. Oh, no. So the Zayda said, but I'm not going to be a chosed. So he said, was lichton. But I need was lichton. I need someone that's going to be secretary. And my Zayda said his father always at night, he was like a naive nishmi. He would say, sometimes the Rebbe Rashab said, like you let in too many people, you did this. So he would feel so terrible. Sometimes he would say, Chonya, what's the geshen? There were so few people that came tonight. But it was really my Zayda's fault because he was scared. So every night was whichever way is But he said everything was so the Mazeda said that his father always told him that he said Chonya de bisbamir ve'azu. Jede Sache is badir neshrech frek bamir. You're like a son to me. Wow. So he said to Mazeda so many times he was in a spoil himself, like why he sees that when they're doing Chazon and a Maimer, this one's asking a Shaila, this one's asking a Shaila. Whenever he stood in front of the Rebbe, he lost his tongue. He couldn't ask any single Shaila. It's not one Shaila he could ask. But so from his whole life, he never once asked one Shaila. He never asked one Shaila, but the Rebbe, he was spending the whole day with the Rebbe, he never asked him. He said it was all Kedai. Because by night, he used to prepare for the Rebbe Rashab when he used to go to sleep. And he used to read Krishma Shalamita. And he was sitting there while the Rebbe Rashab was reading Krishma Shalamita.
Just to listen to the
Yeah, it said everything was kedai, not to be a chosid, to be oizgidis. Everything was kedai to hear the Krishma Shalamita of the Rebbe Rashab. So, bottom line is that this is Perek Zayin. We're coming out of Perek Zayin. Perek Zayin, the Alter Rebbe talks about Shuvat HaTorah, and he says that there's a person's kaveh azman, tikun chatzois, leil shishi, Krishma Shalamita, to be more of the chushbana. The two exercises is one is leiv nishbar, and the other is to have rachmanis on his neshama. And that these two exercises allow that a person should have Kabbalah Shalom Alpha Shemayim in Oifen, that the emes of Aleil Shalom, and that makes that the Heit HaTorah should be Toshuv Hey, that the Heit HaTorah should reconnect. Now we're holding a Perek Ches. We're holding in Perek Ches. Oh, I can't see.
Winter Lebanon.
Oh yeah? Oh wow, you brought this.
Where here?
Maybe my brother-in-law.
Maybe your brother will put it back.
You go.
Goes on the table when they change.
Oh, sure, I brought this. Perek Ches, if you're looking in the, right, it's exactly, page Sadik Ches. Page,
Opposite 194.
Tzach.
page Sadik Ches. You got it?
Tzach. My father
Tzach.
worked for Tzach.
Oh, it does a work for Tzak. It's
Tear
for
with
the
the
Aleph and
flag.
Tzak. Okay. Ini acharei amo kesadas b'chol now. The person thinks about it in great oimek. Yuchel lavakesh be'emes mumke delibe karev rachamecha mechep shoy. The person then is going to ask with an emes, when he's going to say, like we said this for the story of Reb Shmuel Groinem, that the CEO is drinking coffee and the owner of the business faints because it's amnegeya. So a person is going to be ba'oimek hadas and Krishma. He'll ask ba'oimek kedaliba karev rachamecha b'chep shoy ki azai tik for believe be'emes goydel rachmanas al pchinas al akusha ben afshe b'shalamayla. When a person has rachim on himself, there's me'oyer rachim milyonim. Why the Alter Rebbe doesn't even have to explain. It's a dova pashut
himself.
And that if a person has rachmanos on himself, is mida connected mida. So last week we learned in the Perek all about having rachmanos on his neshama that he goes through, and he has rachmanos on his neshama. Mida connected mida, when he has rachmanos on his neshama, the Eibush has rachmanos on him. Before we go further, based on the beer from the Rebbe and a beer that we spoke last week, Perek Ches talks about Shuvat HaTorah and Shuvat Eloah. Perek Zayin also talks about Shuvat HaTorah. Why didn't he put everything about Shuvat HaTorah in Perek Zayin and everything about Shuvat Eloah in Perek Ches? Why? But the pshat, based on what the Rebbe says, is in Perek Zayin we're talking about the exercises you have to do for yourself. What you're going to do for yourself in order to strengthen your Kabbalah Soil Malchus Shemayim. The Shuvat HaTorah means that a person should have Kabbalah Soil be'emes of Alev Shalom, and that's through two exercises: having Rachmanis be'emes on his neshama, and also having a Leiv Nishbar. In Perek Ches, we're not talking about what you're doing for yourself, what you're accomplishing lamaila. Mida keneged mida. When you have rachmanas in yourself, the Eibush is going to have rachmanas. Where does the Eibush's rachmanas come from? From Yud Gimel Midas Rachma. If you remember in the earlier Parakim, the Alter Rebbe spoke about that a person affects what happens in the Olam because his neshama is Yud Kei Vav Kei. The Alter Rebbe talks about the Koitze Shel Yud. We spoke then Barichas that the Rebbe is what's important about the Koitze Shel Yud. The Koitze Shel Yud has a mile. On the one hand, he's not even a part of the Yud. There's even a svara in the Gemara that the Yud is kosher without the Koitze Shel Yud. It's gonna you mechuyev to have the Koitze Shel Yud. On the other hand, he's not so much a part because it's a svara that you're not chayiv to have it a part of theirs. On the other hand, he's part of the ois. He's part of the ois. So there is the Yud Gimel Mitzarachim, and the way it's merumas in the Koitza Shel Yud. On the one hand, a person, because the Eibishter is called the Baal HaRotzen, that the Eibishter, the Yid was against the Eibishter's Rotzen, but because the Eibishter is the Baal HaRotzen, the Eibishter is not bound to his Rotzen. The Eibishter could forgive him. It's Nishnageya, so he went against my Rotzen. The Eibishter forgives because the Eibishter is the Baal HaRotzen. On the other hand, if it's a place that's not negaya to the four oisius of Yud Kei Vav Kei, so how is it going to fix the Yud Kei Vav Kei? The mile of Yud Gimel Mitzarachim, and the way it's merumas in the Koitza Shuyud, on the one hand, it's higher than the Yud Kei Vav Kei. On the other hand, it's connected to Yud Kei Vav Kei. So therefore, it's not tainted by the Chet, and the Idach, it could fix the Yud Kei Vav Kei. So when I eat it, Moira Rachim of himself, midikering me that this Moira Rachim, Yud Gimel Mitzarachim, it bezeh Yoira Rachim al Yonim, Yud Gimel Mitzarachim, Mshachem, Rotzen Alya Baruch Hu, Anirmas bekoitze shal Yud, shal Maila, Mepchinas Ashpa, Nishpas, Moise, Shem, Yud Kei Vav Kei. The koitze shal Yud is much higher than the Yud Hey, the Vav and the Hey. But again, a Yud Gimel Mitzarachim, Menakim kol apgam, it fixes up all the pagam. Kumashkosa noise oven v'fesha v'nakei.
Where's the kite that shows you now?
On the
All the
yud,
yuds?
on the yud, and every yud. The shaila is in
It
three
just-
opinions. What's the koitza shel yud?
We're talking the crown or just the curve?
Three opinions. We spoke about it last time. I
Okay.
even had a picture. Remind me next time. I'll bring the picture, and I'll bring the picture with the three opinions of the koitza shel yud. But the koitza, there is such a thing called koitza shel yud, which is probably that thing that sticks out on the top of the yud, and that is merames to higher than yud, which is yud gimel mitzarachim. L'chein yud gimel mitzarachim menakim kol apgamim mishkos of nois evan v'fesha v'nakei. So it's menak every single pagam. There's nothing left. So b'shuv, now that it's menak every pagam, and not only the person did tshuva, but be'emes, it cleaned up every pagam, that the pagam that he caused lamaila and lamata got cleaned up. There is a story. There's another story that's similar to this, but this is a different story. That the story with the Alter Rebbe, that a person came and he told the Alter Rebbe that there's a shiksa that mizman lazman accidentally he had two shkotzim with her. So the Alter Rebbe started telling him the story of the Gemara of Elazar ben Dudaya. Told him the whole story.
What do you mean by accidentally? So you had relations with her.
Who's an anus?
No, it's a Loshen Nakiya. He didn't think she'll get pregnant. I don't know.
Okay.
So he now they have two shkotzim.
What's
So,
in a nutshell?
two goy.
In 5 words, what's the story of Rabbi Elazar ben?
The Elazar ben Dudaya was that he did every single sin with every single zayna.
The line.
And then he wanted to do tshuva, and he said the sky, no, it's another guy. And then everyone, the sky and the moon, and everyone told him, listen, you got to take care of yourself. We're not helping you out. If you're not going to take care of yourself, no one's going to take care of you. And then he started to cry, and he did tshuva, and he passed away when he's crying. The guy ran back. He ran back home, and he ran it. This guy ran back home, and he ran into the forest, and he started to cry. The family saw that he's not home. He came home. He left. They knew Mizman. They knew his weak point. So shine.
Which family? His
The
from
man
family. His from family.
It's from family. Unfortunately, they knew the score. So okay. That goy, that shiksa, had a lot of children. One of her sons came ordering. This guy had a krechma. He was selling vodka. They came to buy a barrel of vodka. What happened? This is one of their younger brothers died. And in Russia, as I go in the minute,
Who's
everything.
Oh, one of his younger brothers.
So this woman had sons.
Many kids. So one of those kids came.
One of the oldest sons came that his younger brother died, and they need a barrel of vodka because for everything is in Russia, a barrel of vodka. The chassan has a barrel of vodka. It's a funeral, it's a barrel of vodka. Everything is with a barrel of vodka. So they came to buy, and then a few hours later, brother he came, and the other brother died. Another barrel of vodka. The family was like wondering if he's been out for too long. Whenever he would go, he would come back. He's away, and they started looking for him. They found him in the forest. He had fainted.
Wait, the brothers who died were those his kids?
Yeah, they told him. They saw he fainted, and they couldn't wake him up. They told him the two shkotzim that you gave birth, from you, they died. We know because they came to the Kretschmer and they already bought 2 barrels of vodka. They already drank up the 2 barrels of vodka for this, and they were able to wake him up, and he became a Baal Tshuva Gomer. So the Mashpir of Shmuel said that we see from this that sometimes a person not only lamaila but also lamata, a person does tshuva. So he's ma'ir so much yudmi gimel mid serachim that not only lamaila is metakin every pagam, also lamata he's metakin every pagam. The Rebbe says, I understand. The pasuk says noisa oven v'fesha v'nakei. Is that the way the pasuk says? Which word is missing here? V'chato. Where's missing the word? So the Rebbe says over here. The Alter Rebbe says Yud Gimel Midas has such a power that's menakim kol apgam. Kol apgam means every single pagam, even a zodim. Even something that a korban in the base of Mikdash could not do because it can only do on a shoygeg or Oshem Tolui and something which is a suffix. Kol. And of this he brings the Mitzad Yudgil Mitzarachim is noise of Fesha Vinake. Chato is shoygeg. This is not what we're talking about. The mile of Yudgil Mitzarachim is even Oven Vafesha, it could also be Menake. Why the pasuk says v'chato v'nakei? The Rebbe says it's a separate business because the pasuk says as v'nake lo yenake, that it depends if a person does tshuva, doesn't do tshuva. So do we want to tell you that's a separate thing that the Eibishter wants to say that even for a sin which is a shoygig, a yid has to do tshuva. A yid always has to do tshuva. So that's what the pasuk is telling you a separate point. That it doesn't matter how terrible the sin is, mitzad yud gimel mitzad achmim, it could be the pagam lamaila, could be wiped away, not only wiped away, but could be memala the pagam, and also lamata. On the other hand, even if it's a slight sin, which was accidental, it was a shoygig, but for it, v'nake lo yenake, that the Eibishter won't do it exist. The Eibishter wants a yid to do tshuva. The Eibishter wants a yid to... So the pasuk is saying from both sides, that even if it's a slight sin, the Eibishter wants the Yid to do tshuva. There's no freebies. The Eibishter wants the Yid to do tshuva. On the other hand, even it's a terrible sin, which is oven v'fesha, which was done bezodin, still, matzad the Yud Gimel mitzarachim, not only to forgive the person, but the pagam itself could be fixed, and not only lamayla, but also lamata. V'lachein Yud Gimel mitzarachim, menakim kol abgadim, kumashkosov noise oven v'fesha v'naki. V'shuv, not only that, B'shuv ein yinika lachitzonim v'asitra achra mashpoas heitato kaniskru li'il. We said before that what happens is that when a yid through a yid avoinos, so the klipa gets an unbelievable amount of chayis, through the yid, because the yid drags down the heitato into klipa, and now the Tuma has unbelievable pleasure from this. Now that the Yid is tshuva, the Heitata goes back, and therefore there's no more Yinika l'chitzayim. Ubezeh toshuv Heitata l'mekayma l'syachid b'yud hey vav v'day l'meivin. Not only does the hay go out of the golus, but the hay is reattached into the yud vav that the way it was attached earlier. In other words, in avodas Hashem of a person could do tshuva. Be'emes b'leiv shalom. He's not in Golus anymore. But is he really connected so much? Is his Kabbalah? There could be 2 Kabbalah soil. There'd be Kabbalah soil that I'm working on. I'm working on my Kabbalah soil, like he said in Perek Zayin. But then there's the Kabbalah soil that's automatic. It's because it's really flowing from the neshama. So once the Yid does tshuva and he reconnects the hay to the Yud Hey Vav, automatically it's easy. It's a geshmak. It's saying Lubavitch, And the Lubavitcher was a Gishmak in Kabbalah Sel Malchus Shamayim, that there was a pleasure. There was a pleasure in Kabbalah Sel. So first he has Kabbalah Sel without such a big pleasure. It's Avodas Eved, Avda Befkeda Nichelei, that he wants to be Befkedus, but he works like it says in Perek Zayin, he works on himself. But then once he pulls out the hay gets reconnected to the Yud, the Hey, the Vav, it flows. The Kabbalah Sel is a much deeper Kabbalah Sel. B'zeh toshuv hey tatolim kemel isyached b'yud hey vav v'daylam even. V'chem amish l'mata b'nefesh el kish ba'odom. Just like the having rachmonas, in other words, unleashing yud gimel mitzarachim affects what happens in the oilamus. It also affects the person. V'chem amish l'mata b'nefesh el kish ba'odom shuv einav v'nasechem avdilim. There's no havdalah between him and the Eibishter in the avonis. To clean him up, the Gemara says that the chait is malafafose. It surrounds him. It goes with him wherever he is, even when he dies, and he goes lo'olam haba. It's like a dog that follows his owner. The Gemara says, "What's the pshat al Teves? What's the pshat malafafose?" That the guy can't shake off his dog. He can't get rid of him. We have a cat lady in our block, so her son is good. Is obviously helps his mother. Nebuch, they're not religious yet, but Shabbos morning I see, and the stray cats also they love Anne because Anne gives them to eat. So the cats are following him and licking his feet. He's trying to kick them away, and they don't want to leave. Malafafosai. Yeah, listen, you're feeding the stray cats all the time. So, so what do you expect? What do you expect? So the Gemara says that the avoidance of a person is malafafosai. So the Alter Rebbe says that after the Yid does tshuva, so not only it's menak in the oilmas, it's menak in the person, that the person has a timtum amoyach, could have a timtum alev. A person could be disturbed because of his chatoim, and now that he gets washed off and cleaned off, he feels liberated. He's no more. It's no more malafafosai. Now this really at this vadat we finished talking about. The avodah of tshuva tator. We finished talking about the avodah of tshuva tator. Now the Alter Rebbe says, as I said, Perek Zayin, the Alter Rebbe is talking about Tshuva Tato, what I need to do for myself. And Perek Ches is the results. Mida keneged mida. If I have Rachmonas Shama, the Eibush will have Rachmonas Ami. When the Eibush has Rachmonas Ami, Yud Gimel Tzarachim, it affects the Yud Kevav Kilamayla, it affects Milamata, it affects this, it affects that, it affects all the things that we just spoke about. And a person all of a sudden was feeling all the Avedas were caked onto him, and all of a sudden it gets washed off, and he feels like he lost 50 pounds. It's good. He's a new thing. He's a new person. Now that there was a ruach that came and washed it away, just like we say by the clouds, when it's very cloudy, and then there comes a wind. They're garnished. So the avoinus seemed like so much, but once the person does tshuva, like a wind blows away the bad clouds. Azai tuchla nefesh loshuv ad Hashem baruch hu mamish v'lalas maila maila l'mekoyra v'ladavka v'yis baruch b'yichud nifla. The Alter Rebbe has a biur nifla on these two lines. What are the three steps? Now the Alter Rebbe is starting to talk about. Now we'll talk about real tshuva. Tshuva tato is child's play. Tshuva law is the real stuff, the real deal. The Alter Rebbe says that people think that tshuva is for avoinus, and that's a big mistake. And tshuva is not as far tzaddikim gemurim, but tzaddikim gemurim, the tshuva tato is not for them. That's child's play. Tshuva law is the real thing, because
what do you need to read up?
what does he need?
It's a tzaddik.
Oh, it's a tzaddik. It could be a tzaddik from Tanya. The Alter Rebbe is explaining. So I'm just saying these two lines. What are these three nekudas? Lo shavad Hashem baruch hu mamish. And number two, v'lalas ma'ala ma'ala makoda. Number three, ladavka b'yis baruch v'yichud nifla. Lineda will talk about it next week. But Kaponim, now we're transitioning to the serious stuff. What is Tshuva law? Tshuva law, the Alter Rebbe is magdik. It means that a yid connects to the Eibishter, k'moishem yechedes bo yizborech, v'tachlis ha-yichud b'terem shenafcha, beruach piv yizborech leired lamata l'slabish beguf. that a person becomes some yuch to the Eibishter just as the neshama was before it came down into a guf baklal. K'moy al derech moshel, just like in the moshel. Ba'odem anefech beruch piv betered sheyoytza ruach mipiv hu miyuchid benafshi. If a person, we said a person blows. So if a person before the person blows, we said that neshama shenasata be. It says ata nafachta bekirbi. Vayipach ba'apav nishmas chaim. Now the Rebbe brings in the first, second Perek in Tanya, and also first and second Perek can get us a tshuva man de nafach mitoiche nafach pirich mepnimiyusa metachiyusa mepnimiyusa. That he's that. So the Alter Rebbe says that what happens if a person before he blows. So the ruach in him is mamish one. So the neshama goes back to the Eibishter the way it was miyuchled before it got separated altogether. V'zuhi tshuva shleima, and this is the tshuva shleima. The Rebbe explains that even though you say, "Oh, tshuva lo is for tzaddikim," I just did a couple of cents. What's the big? I'm garden variety criminal. I'm just a regular choite. Now you want from me tshuva lo? Whatever, they'll leave it for the tzaddikim. They'll do it for the chassidim. But the answer is no. But because we'll say later that about tshuva, we say has to make a double knot. So you have to tie it up. So now don't tell me you're just going to do tshuva tato and you can go back to the base medrash. Now you have to do tshuva eloah. Now the tshuva shleima is going to be when he does not only tshuva tato, but also tshuva eloah. Later in the brackets, we're going to say the nadav nekuda, that a person that is about tshuva, because he's so disgusted with the world, so he has a passion in the tshuva b'chela yatir. He has a koyach in the tshuva b'chela yatir. But here he's not saying that yet. He's just saying that a person can't say, I did tshuva tatu again, so everything tshuva tatu is good. It really wipes away all the sins. The mamzerim lach, even the two shkotzim died already. They already bought 2 barrels of vodka. So what could be better now? No, it has to be a double knot. A yid has to also do tshuva shleima through tshuva elov. V'hine b'chinas yichud zeh. The tshuva zeh b'chinas tshuva elov she'achad tshuva tato. Mashkosu b'zeir HaKodesh b'rai mehem nepashas nasa. The tshuva elov he disyasek b'iraisa. That tshuva elov has to do with learning Torah. B'tchilu u'rechimu d'kutshabrichu with ava v'yiru of the Eibishter. The you ben yudkei bina. The Zohar says that the word bina, if you spin the letters, is ben yudkei. Ben yudkei. That's what the Zohar says. If you spin the letters of bina, it's ben yudkei. The Rebbe is masbir in the Shiur in Sefer Tanya, with they used to have on the radio for many years. You remember WEVD station that speaks your language? Rabbi Weinberg.
He was influenced my father to become Lubavitch.
Yeah, and
My father's uncle.
I remember that every years they loved it, and they messiah him after 20 years or 25 years in the radio.
He stood opposite the Rashad.
Huh? Yeah.
Exactly.
And he was messiahing the Tanya. It was 1980. It was a big mesiba. I remember there was a huge, and the Rebbe gave mezoinus, a mashke for it, and they had it in Olei Torah. Tovshin Mem. Anyway, so in the Shurim B'Sefer Tanya, the Rebbe says like this: that the difference of tshuva tato, tshuva eloah is not just a difference. Tshuva tato is a small thing. He was a Rasha. He was disconnected from the Eibishter. Now he's connected to the Eibishter. Tshuva eloah is huge. Tshuva eloah is a much more difficult avodah. Tshuva eloah is that a person feels biyeshus. Alter Rebbe says even a tzaddik gomur, tzaddik in Tanya, not a tzaddik when you go in the grocery store and the Mexican tells you, okay, you paid for your bagel, you're a tzaddik. The tzaddik in Tanya. So that tzaddik is yesh misha'oyev. It's because a person, Adrab, a tzaddik has more yeshus than the person is a schlepper, is what they call today, what the president of America calls today a loser. So his garnish has no yeshus. A tzaddik is full of yeshus. He has avos Hashem, he has yidus Hashem, he has opinions. He's full of yeshus. A healthy yeshus, but still it's yeshus. It's still yeshus. So now tshuva eloah takes the yesh and turns it into ayin. That's a bigger distance to travel than being avanesechem avdilim, disconnected and now connected. That's a small distance. Let's go from here to there. To go from yesh to ayin is huge. Yeah, that bittul to go from a yesh to a ayin is an unbelievable distance. That's why in Tshuva Tator, what do we remember all the exercises we spoke about in Pedig Zayin, that a person exercises the Tshuva Tator through Leiv Nishbar, through Rachmanas on himself, Rachmanas. All these, this is all to do with Avodas Hamidus. The Tshuva Eloah is Avodas Hamoich. Says the Rebbe, what's the difference between Midas and Moich? There's one major difference. What is a Midah? Midah is, how do I feel about it? Fight or flight? Am I going to fight with this guy? Am I going to run away? The brain has 2 seconds to decide. It's about me. Now the shaila is, where am I have better chances to survive? Okay, let's not talk about survival. Let's talk about relationships. This is a good relationship. It's not a good. It's a healthy or not a healthy relationship. It's about me. It's about how the world around me relates to me. Moichin is nicht negeya. Kashoichet ya'aver eine chachama v'yisalav divrei tzadikim. Take yourself out of the picture. If you can't take yourself out of the picture, you can't be a good dayan. You can't be a judge. You have to take yourself totally out of the picture. It's not negay how I feel, not negay how I think, not negay my preconceived notions. What's the emes? What is the emes? We're going to keep on asking questions until we find out what is the emes. So that's why when it's not just, oh, this is avodas hamidus, this is avodas hamoichin. The connection of bina, it's not just, oh, we spin the words. Bina is ben yutke. And now it's Yisasik Be'eraisa, but the Chilu Rechimu, that he's learning Torah, not stop learning Torah through Ava V'Yidas Hashem, and he's learning with unbelievable Avas V'Yidah. That is that in order for a Yid to be able to transition from a Yeshus to a Bittel, from a Yesh to a Ayin, it's very hard for a person to lose. A person walks into a room, you feel conscience. They, are people looking at me? Am I this or that? You feel yourself, right? And the worst that sometimes it's to our detriment. Like if you could just forget about yourself, well, given zeh good, right? Like the Mashpia said, Chaim Shel Brook. Remember, we had here the grandson of Shel Chaim Brook. He was like a Zayda, as a sharf efer. He would say, Zayda said that when you're healthy, you're healthy. How do you know that you're healthy? If you start feeling your hand, you're not healthy. If you feel your legs, you're not healthy. If you feel your head, you're not healthy. When you're healthy, you don't feel anything. So, a person should push it and not feel himself. Nothing. The world is nothing. He is nothing. From yesh, absolute ayin. That in order to get there, it's al yedei di siyasik be'eraisa b'dechilu rechimu. That's only through avodas hamoichin. That doesn't happen so much through bataka al yedei dechilu rechimu. He's learning Torah through Ava V'Yira, not stam learning Torah that he's doing Daf Yomi, or he's doing he's doing whatever Shiurim Akvuyim. He's doing it b'dechilu rechimu, but it's isasik be'eraisa. And that's the difference between Tshuva Tator and Tshuva Eloah. Tshuva Tator is a small distance that I was disconnected and I'm reconnected to the Eibishter. But Tshuva Eloah is a ganz andere Sach. I lose my consciousness. I'm not a Yeshus, a bittul. It's a totally different thing. And that's Taka Tshuva Shlema. When he gets there, he knows, oh, now this is absolute Tshuva Shlema. There's a story that the Frierdiker Rebbe says in a letter. Before I tell you the story, the person is going to say, why do we need Tshuva Shlema? There's this, they say there's a Maisa Metayidina. She came to the bookstore and they said she wants a siddur. So the Moicha wanted to give her a tzanarena siddur. No. She said, I want the siddur with Ayin Aleph Pirushin. The siddur with all the 71 commentaries around it. So the Moicha Svarim knew she knows Ivra. He said, you know how to read these Meforshim? You don't understand. I'm buying a siddur for 150 years. I'm not buying a second siddur. What happens over time is that the paper crumbles. So if it's going to crumble, so the Ayin Aleph Pirushim are going to crumble, but the siddur is going to stay straight. But if you're going to sell me the regular siddur, so when it's going to start crumbling, the words are going to crumble. So if a person is going to do tshuva tato, he could slip backwards also. But the tshuva shlema is that he's now that he's doing tshuva ilah.
Can a Benini get to that?
Yeah, sure. Even a tzaddik, it's just that we said that the chidush davar is in a way that also that a balaveda needs to do it. We say, maybe let's leave it at tzaddikim for tshuva ilah because it's a tough one, tshuva ilah. And so Al Rebbe says, no, you have to in order, like I'm saying from the story with the Yidina, in order when it will crumble, we wanted to Ayin Aleph Pirushim should crumble. Okay, let's
Does anyone ever write a nusach before you learn to have that in mind? That it formalizes this attitude that I'm matal to Hashem and I'm learning Lishma. Did any of the Rebbeim ever write a nusach that lays that out to?
As soon as you write a nusach, it'll become as routine as everything else.
So then what's the Eitzah? Just stick it in your head?
Okay, stick with it. The Frierdiker Rebbe tells a beautiful story about a chassid of the Rebbe Marash. The chassid came. He was the chassid. His name was Reb Abba Ginsburg. He lived in Minsk, and he said, "Rebbe, what should I do? I can't focus on learning my business, and I get distracted. I can't focus on learning." The Rebbe Rashab got very serious. He said, the Rebbe Marash says, "You're telling me this is the biggest kriyas kafui toiv. You have the Nesayim of Ashirus. You own the main bank in Minsk. The main bank in Varsha belongs to you. You own fields. You own businesses. You own factories. There are people that never come to me. They have the Nesayim of Anius. They're distracted because they don't know, where they're going to bring a loaf of bread to the table. And now that the Eibishter gives you so much bracha that you're telling me you're distracted." He left the Yechidus, and it really he wasn't expecting. Usually Gvidim and Rebbes, like Rabbi Yosef Cooperstein used to tell me, the new house we bought from Tibor Cooperstein, he used to tell me always, "Rebbe, all the Rebbes, would give me brachas. Every Rebbe give a bracha." He was a businessman. He gave a dichtika chevraman. Only the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Lubavitcher Rebbe, once I had a business, I told the Rebbe told me, "Rabbi Yosef's in the shvach." That was it. The Rebbe told him not to go into that business. He said that was the only Rebbe ever.
Which one? Collecting garbage?
I'm not sure. Apparently, that's not what the Rebbe told him. But here, he got a cold shower. He came back a week later to the Rebbe, and he said he decided that he's giving all of his nachosim, he's giving to tzedakah in a Yerusha, and he's going to disconnect from his business, and he's going to hire a younger man to start learning with him b'chavrusa. The Rebbe Marash said, no, I'm sorry. I'm not accepting. You're not disconnecting your business. You can continue running your banks and your factories and your business. And this that you said you give 50% for tzedakah and a Yerusha, I'm not masking. It has to be Olam Chatira B'chayecha. You'll give it in your lifetime. Right now, give half your money to tzedakah, not after you pass away. You don't want to be some... and this that you said that you can't focus on learning, you don't realize that you think, because in business a lot of time people waste a lot of times. If you stop all the dvorim betelim, it's nicht negay the dvorim betelim. You just have to make money. The all andere Sachen is nicht negay. If you stop wasting time in business, you'll see that you'll have a lot of time to learn. So continue your business and hire a younger man that will learn with you every day, and give the money to get him gleich halb dan in a chosim to get him on tzedakah. And the Frierdiker Rebbe said that Kachava, he immediately gave half of his money wealth to tzedakah, And he realized, and he told the Frierdiker Rebbe this story. He himself told it that all of a sudden he became a new person. He realized that he could focus on learning, and he started his business was kept on being matzliach, and at the same time he was able to learn with a chavrusa every day, and was able to clean his head, and he was able to totally disconnect from the business and to learn. So, the same thing here. A person says "Tshuva law," but no, the Alter Rebbe says every yid is shaykh to do tshuva Torah and a shaykh to do tshuva law. David L'chaim L'chaim. Tonight is the Yortz of the Alter Rebbe. There's no question that that the Alter Rebbe was not only talking about his chassidim. The Alter Rebbe is talking to me and you. We should be matzliach. The tshuva Torah and the tshuva law and the tshuva maybe refuah and the tshuva maybe geula should bring a refuah to all the yidden and to bring a geula mitzvah shleima.
Amen, amen. You should be the male choice for us.
Okay, should sing an Einigen Chotsch. It's Sholish Tnus.
It's Rabbi Ginsburg. Whose grandchildren? Which bank? The biggest bank in Minsk and the biggest bank. What Varsha?
I'll show you the letter. Tomorrow night, we start to say the Nagunim, or we're going to? Yeah. So L'chaim.
Next week, the Shiur Tanya will be in the Hazak Hall. Everybody come.
Very good. L'chaim. And I got your invitation back in the mail.
When's the wedding?
Open it up, I know what an application.
I got it back in the mail. I can get the wrong address. The wrong address. I and G. The I and the J. Huh? Yeah, I know. I'm telling you, I got it. I will. I want to give it to you.
Can open up.
Thursday night. L'chaim. It's Lamata in the basement.
Is the pulpit that can dance and stuff?
Yeah, usually it's on time.
It's the Shabbos,
Because it's before and after, right? You have to be right. You can.
What is in this good here?
No. It'll be a kiddush here. It's a shim.
Friday night here in the house.
Charles Shidduch will be Sheva Brachos, like last time?
Should we make sure the shows that have a brachos? I don't know.
It's up to you and,
Yeah.
No, I think that thing's finished with the wine. Thank you. Don't think
Last time we did it. I don't know.
You can be convinced.
We'll do a mime.
We'll do a mime. Yeah. Let's do a mime.
So what's the gift?
Okay, l'chaim. Oh, but tomorrow night we're going to do the Seder Negunim.
Yes.
To me, tomorrow night, right after Maidav.
It's not good for half an hour.
Because
Yeah.
6 o'clock, you can't make Kiddush. 6:30.
Ideally. No.
Why we don't make we make only on red wine and we don't make it in 67.
Some people say it has nothing to do with the color of the wine.
Show me. What's the problem? You'll come and then you'll come eat with me? Yeah.
I have to check with my manager.
Oh, with the manager.
Or eat before.
If we're reserved at another meal or not. But thank you.
We have a
Hey,
map.
Mishkoyach, Mishkoyach.
You have a Zimmer, make a Zimmer.
Yeah, make
You
a
have 3 people to wash.
make a kosher broch on the
Fine, you like to drink red wine.
No, I'm out.
That's not the thing.
Sorry, that's Zimmer, hold on. Right, Zimmer. Yeah, he's doing.
Oh, what? So that's why these. Wait, what? Oh,